It's January 27th, 2025. Nvidia loses $600 billion in a single day. The biggest one-day loss in stock market history. The reason? A Chinese AI startup nobody had heard of just released a chatbot that matches ChatGPT, built for $6 million using chips we said they couldn't have. 1 year later, China isn't just catching up. They're building something that could make Nvidia's chips irrelevant. And it's not what you think. Let me explain what actually happened that day. DeepSeek, a startup from Hangzhou, released an AI model called R1. It could do everything ChatGPT could do: reasoning, coding, analysis, same quality. But here's what freaked everyone out. They said they built it for $5.6 million. OpenAI spent over $100 million training GPT-4. Meta is spending $65 billion this year on AI. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they're all burning hundreds of billions. And this random Chinese company said we did it for the price of a nice house in San Francisco. The real problem? The US has been banning advanced chips to China for years. We thought this would cripple them. We thought without our chips, they couldn't compete. DeepSeek built R1 using older restricted chips, the ones we allowed them to have. Trump called it a wake-up call. Mark Andreessen, one of the biggest tech investors in the world, called it one of the most amazing breakthroughs I've ever seen. And Nvidia? They lost more value in 1 day than the entire GDP of Sweden. Now, Nvidia's stock recovered. It's still the biggest chip company in the world. But that day exposed something everyone had been ignoring. China doesn't need to beat Nvidia's chips. They just need to make Nvidia's chips matter less. Fast forward to today. While everyone was watching DeepSeek, something else was happening. 4 Chinese chip startups just went public or filed for IPO, all in the last few months. Traders call them the 4 dragons. More Threads, Medax, Byron, Inflame. Their stocks have exploded. Some are up 50% in a month. Investors are piling in like it's the next Nvidia. But the real player everyone's watching? Huawei. Huawei's been building AI chips called Ascend. Their latest, the 910C, is roughly 60% as powerful as Nvidia's H100. Not as good, but getting closer. Here's where it gets interesting. Huawei figured out that if one chip isn't powerful enough, use 384 of them. They built something called Cloud Matrix. It's a system that links hundreds of their chips together. And when you cluster them like that, they actually beat Nvidia's best systems in certain tasks. Now, a major US think tank, the Council on Foreign Relations, says Huawei is still years behind. Nvidia's next chip will be 17 times more powerful than Huawei's by 2027. But here's what that report didn't talk about. It doesn't matter if your chip is twice as powerful if you can't turn it on. This is the part nobody's talking about, and it might be the most important part. Elon Musk said it at Davos. He said very soon we'll be producing more AI chips than we can actually power, except China. In 2005, the US generated twice as much electricity as China. Today, China generates more than twice as much as us. Let that sink in. Their power generation has grown almost 8% per year for 2 decades. Ours has been basically flat. Inner Mongolia. It's this region in northern China with nothing but grasslands. They've covered it with thousands of wind turbines and solar panels. They're calling it the Cloud Valley of the Grasslands. Over 100 data centers, operating or on the way. And here's the kicker. Chinese data centers pay half the electricity rates that American ones do. Half. The Brookings Institution, one of the most respected think tanks in the world, calls this the Electron Gap. America has the chip advantage, but China has the power advantage. Think about it. Every AI model needs 2 things: chips to think and power to run. We've been obsessing over chips. China's been building power plants. And as these models get bigger and hungrier, that electricity advantage starts to matter. A lot. Now let's talk about why this matters to you, even if you've never bought a single stock. If you have a 401k, if you have an index fund, if you have any retirement savings at all, you own Nvidia. Nvidia is 7% of the entire S&P 500. It's the biggest company in the index, bigger than Apple, bigger than Microsoft. The top 20 stocks make up half of the S&P 500, and Nvidia is number one. Nvidia is worth $4.5 trillion. That's bigger than the entire economy of Germany. When DeepSeek dropped last year and Nvidia fell 17%, the entire Nasdaq dropped 3%. 401k accounts across America took a hit because of one Chinese chatbot. So when China figures out how to compete with Nvidia, whether through better chips, smarter software, or just raw power, it's not just a tech story. It's a story about your retirement account. Now, I'm not saying sell everything. Nvidia is still dominant. Their technology is still years ahead. But concentration risk is real. When 7% of your retirement is in one company, and that company's main growth market is locked in a tech war with China, that's worth thinking about. So here's where we actually are. Chips? America wins. Nvidia, AMD, Intel. We make the best chips, and we control who gets them. Manufacturing? Taiwan wins. TSMC makes 90% of the world's most advanced chips, and China can't touch them. Yet. Electricity? China wins. Twice our output, half the cost. Already built for the AI boom. AI models? It's getting close. DeepSeek proved you don't need the best chips to make great AI. You need smart engineering. Global adoption. China's winning the developing world. DeepSeek usage in Africa is 2 to 4 times higher than anywhere else. Chinese AI is free. American AI costs money. The US strategy has been block the chips, win the war. But China's counter strategy is becoming clear. Make the chips matter less. Build models that run on anything. Generate unlimited power. Give it away for free. It's not about winning this generation of chips. It's about making sure the next generation plays by different rules. Here's what to watch for. Huawei is releasing new chips this year, the Ascend 950. They've got the 960 planned for 2027, each generation getting closer. China's electricity capacity keeps growing. They're adding the equivalent of the entire UK's power grid every few years. DeepSeek has a new model coming, V4. If it's another breakthrough built on banned chips, the panic starts again. Nvidia's not standing still either. Their next chips, codenamed Rubin, are supposed to be absurdly powerful, but they need power too. I don't know who wins the race, nobody does, but I know this. The AI race isn't just about who has the smartest engineers or the best chips. It's about who can actually turn them on. If you have Nvidia in your portfolio, and you probably do, this doesn't mean panic. It means pay attention. The biggest risk isn't that Huawei builds a better chip. It's that the world decides they don't need the best chip. China bet on power, while we bet on processors. We'll find out who was right.